Fantasy movies are a genre that seems to have gripped audiences from the start of cinema, and the future of cinema seems to be ready to keep this trend going, as there are some amazing upcoming fantasy movies that are looking to get released within the next year or two. And in this list, I will be giving you my recommendations of the top 5 upcoming fantasy movies that will be getting released within the next couple of years that I think all viewers of this channel will really enjoy. But before we begin, don't forget, if you love anything to do with historical movies and fantasy movies, then subscribe to my channel, History Spark. At number 10, it is Wicked, an upcoming fantasy movie that is set in the Wizard of Oz world, and this tells the story of the Wicked Witch of the West, but in a way audiences will never have witnessed before, as we see the events of Elphaba's life that lead to her reputation as a misunderstood Wicked Witch. This movie will star Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande in the primary roles, and Peter Dinklage and Jeff Goldblum will also feature in Wicked in smaller roles. Wicked is set for a November 2024 release worldwide, so be sure to mark your calendars for this upcoming fantasy adventure. At number 9, it is Aladdin 2, which will be the sequel to the amazing live-action Aladdin film that got released in 2019. The sequel film got confirmed to be in the works by Disney in 2020, but there have been some small updates about the movie since then, with director Guy Ritchie set to return for the film alongside majority of the original cast including Naomi Scott and Mena Massoud, but Will Smith's involvement is not fully confirmed as of yet. However, it has been a while since Disney has given any meaningful updates on Aladdin 2, but I am optimistic we may get this film out in cinemas by late 2026, hopefully. While we are on the subject of upcoming fantasy-based sequels, now seems like a good time to mention that Mortal Kombat 2 will also be getting released in October of next year. Majority of the original cast will be returning for the sequel, and there's not much known about what the plot for this fantasy movie will be, except that this movie will embrace the weirdness of Mortal Kombat and be totally unpredictable, defying all fan expectations according to the director of this upcoming sequel. I really enjoyed the first Mortal Kombat film and I'm a huge fan of the video games, so definitely can't wait to watch Mortal Kombat 2 when it gets released to cinemas next year. At number 7 is 1000 Sword in the Stone, which will be aiming to portray a more accurate retelling of the original Sword in the Stone story, in which a teenage boy during the year 1000 in medieval Italy will inherit the legendary magical sword and use it to defeat the evil forces that are trying to bring about Armageddon. This movie is set to be the first film of a trilogy, so it is good to see that this may end up becoming a more in-depth and heavily character-driven fantasy film. This movie has been penned by Guido Maria Giordano, who has already won several awards for his previous scripts, so it is safe to say that 1000 Sword in the Stone may end up becoming one of the best fantasy films of 2024 and is rumored to be getting released in late October of this year. At number 6, it is a Minecraft movie, a film based off the immensely popular video game series Minecraft. The premise of the plot is 4 misfits find themselves transported to a magical world called the Overworld, and there they will have to use their imagination and creativity to save the cubic world and return to their own land. So definitely an interesting premise here, and the cast is stellar as well, featuring Jason Momoa, Jack Black and Danielle Brooks in starring roles. A Minecraft movie is set to be released to cinemas all across the world in April of 2025. So definitely a great and original fantasy movie to look forward to next year. At number 5, it is Ghost of Tsushima, an upcoming historical fantasy movie based off of the hit PlayStation exclusive game Ghost of Tsushima. And the basic premise of the plot is a samurai named Jin Sakai is one of the last surviving members of his clan as they go to battle against the invading Mongol forces as they are trying to overrun the Japanese island of Tsushima. And the rest of the story is pretty much based around the actions Jin decides to take in order to get rid of the Mongol threat to his land. We have very little confirmed information about the Ghost of Tsushima movie at this point. All we know so far is that Chad Stahelski has been brought on to direct the film and that Sony will be producing this movie and dedicating a large amount of resources towards it. It has also been confirmed that the script for this movie is also complete as well. So we'll hopefully find out more about this upcoming fantasy film over the next couple of months, and I'll be sure to keep everyone updated as I find out more about the Ghost of Tsushima movie. At number 4, it is Red Sonja, an upcoming sword and sorcery movie following the legendary character from the Conan the Barbarian franchise. Fantasy film fans will remember a Red Sonja movie getting released in 1985, and it is still unclear as of yet whether this upcoming fantasy film will be a remake of the classic 1985 film or follow a new story and trajectory. It has been confirmed that Matilda Lutz will star as Red Sonja, and Rona Mitra and Robert Sheehan will be featuring in supporting roles within the film. MJ Bassett is on board to direct this movie, who is best known for his work on the Reacher television series. Red Sonja has some amazing source material to base a movie off of, and I'm optimistic it may be one of the best upcoming movies of 2024. At number 3, it is Highlander, which will be a reboot of the 1986 film of the same name. This upcoming fantasy film is expected to be getting released in 2026, and it will star Henry Cavill in the lead role for this reboot. There have been no solid details released yet about the plot, but this movie will not be a direct remake of the original film and TV shows. According to the director, this TV series aims to put a fresh and new spin on the source material to make it more accessible to newer generations. I'm really excited about Highlander, and any film that stars Henry Cavill is definitely one that I will be keeping a close eye on, and subscribe to my channel History Spark to get more updates on Highlander as they become available. At number 2, it is In the Lost Lands, an upcoming fantasy movie based off of the book of the same name written by the legendary author George R.R. Martin. The primary plot of the novel is around a sorceress who travels to the Lost Lands in search of a magical power that allows a person to transform into a werewolf. This upcoming movie will star Dave Bautista and Mila Jovovich as the two primary stars of this movie. And I for one cannot wait for this film to get released, as the cast is great, George R.R. Martin is one of the best world builders in history, and Paul Anderson is a great director, so there is no reason to not expect In the Lost Lands to be an amazing fantasy adventure for all viewers. And the top spot on this list is the upcoming Lord of the Rings animated film The War of the Rohirrim, which will further establish the history and lore of the Lord of the Rings universe, as we will delve into the story of Helm Hammerhand and the development of the stronghold Helm's Deep. Miranda Otto has been confirmed to reprise her role as Eowyn, and she will be the narrator of this film. And Brian Cox will be voicing Helm Hammerhand, who should be a name familiar to all historical and fantasy movie fans. The current writer's strike has delayed the release of this movie, but The War of the Rohirrim is currently set to be released in December 2024, and I'm hopeful that this will be a great addition to the Lord of the Rings franchise. So let me know in the comments down below if there are any other upcoming fantasy movies that I may have missed out on, and which of these movies you are looking most forward to watching. And as always, if you want to stay up to date with everything happening in the fantasy and historical world, then subscribe to my channel History Spark, and thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.